hit record, so we're gonna go ahead and start. I will give you more time later. Find a stopping point. If you're finished, great. If you're not finished, just find a stopping point and then you'll have some time later. All right, you have 3 parts, and I'm just gonna tell you all the parts in the beginning. 3 parts that we're learning today. Part 1 is gonna be angle of elevation. Part 2 is going to be actually finding an angle measure. Part 3 we are not going to get to today, but part 3 is going to be converting decimal, seconds, and minutes. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Let's go ahead and back up to part 1. In order for you to get prepared for today, you need to turn to page 11 in your packet. You also need to get out a sheet of notebook paper. So we're doing a little bit of paperwork, a little bit of packet work. We're going to be working with degrees. It's going to be somebody looking up, which is angle of elevation, or it's going to be somebody looking down, which is angle of depression. When somebody is looking down, the right triangle is right here. So when somebody's looking down, it's kind of on the outside of the triangle, which is totally fine because that's a parallel, those are 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal, which means all you need to remember is these 2 opposite interior angles are congruent. You learned that a couple of years ago. All you need to remember is that angle of elevation is the exact same degrees as the angle of depression. So with that being said, let's do a little practice. So if you could look at the next page where it says example 1. Give you a moment to read that. Problem 1. Good. A side of a triangle, right? Every single time you are looking for the side of the triangle, it's always the same setup. It's blank, degrees, equal sign, fraction bar. Always the same thing. It's never going to change. When I ask you these kind of questions on a test or a quiz next week, this should be free give me problems. All right, we have our setup. Let's fill in our fraction. What are we looking for again? This one, right? All right, there's your right angle. Remember, the height and the ground always form 90 degrees. So if we're looking for that, what is that in relation to the angle, 53 degrees?
Opposite.
It's opposite. Very good. If it is opposite, then let's put it on top. Let's see what happens when you put it on top. X is on top. Now, the only other measure they gave us was what? So we have that, 53, good. And what else? What is it, 47 point? Okay, if I put that here, what is that in relation to the angle? Good. That's O over A. What matches O over A? There you go. There's your last blank. Let's put tangent right here. Okay, look. Y'all are in pre-cal. You should totally be able to handle equations with fractions. That just should be easy for you. So, if you have a fraction, how do you get rid of the fraction bar? Multiply by what's underneath. Let's multiply both sides by what's underneath. X is by itself. This is calculator ready. Turn on your calculator, and you can type that in just like that. Instructions, it's always 2 places. So X equals 62.77. Okay, and y'all, it is a word problem, so don't forget to put meters on that measurement. All right. Now, let's keep moving forward. Number 2. All right, so look at number 2. Please read those words for a moment, and then we're going to talk. Okay, so long story short, they took a picture of the radar. This ship was 2,400 meters away. Later on, they took the radar, and it was 2,650 meters away. How far did the boat travel, or the ship travel? Here's your right angle. And then where's theta? At the top. You're looking at your angle at the top. How many degrees is that angle? 25.09. Right there, Sophie. And then, look. That is a right triangle. How many sides are given? 2. Y'all, if 2 sides are given, you can use the Pythagorean theorem. But let's go back to problem 1. How many sides were given on problem 1? If there's only 1 side given, you're forced to do trig. If there's 2 sides given, you can do your old junior high Pythagorean theorem for sure. I'm going to keep doing trig because that's what we need to practice in here. But if this was like a test question, you sure could do Pythagorean theorem to make sure you got it right. All right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this measure. I am looking for a side of a triangle. Same setup. Blank, degrees, equal sign, fraction bar. Always the same. Okay, so in relation to x, is that opposite, hypotenuse, or adjacent? Very good. Let's go ahead and put that at the top. And let's remind ourselves it's opposite. And then, y'all, think about SOHCAHTOA. What's most commonly at the bottom for sine and cosine? Hypotenuse. Let's use hypotenuse. Let's use 2650. So which one is that? Is that cosine or is that sine? It's sine. It's sine. So remember, that's great. You guys should totally be able to roll with fractions in your equation. Remember your calculator ready answer is 2650 times the sine value of 25.09. That's going to equal x. And you put it in the calculator just like that. And y'all, I'm sorry I don't remember the answer on this. Have no clue. 19? 1123? Yes, 1123, right? Yes, all right. Thank you. 1123.71. Sounds good to me. Just looking at the measure of units, and it is in meters. Awesome. Now, it's your turn. So we're all right, those are the answers to number 1. Part 2. Here's part 2. Y'all need to be paying attention. Part 2 is that handout that you are given, but hold on, look. If I have tangent, I don't know, 16 over 8. Now remember, this was tangent of some degree of theta, and it was 16 over 8. You guys just did that. I'm just making up random numbers. I just set this up. What if I need to know the angle? So look, what we would do is we need to get theta by itself. In order to get theta by itself, I would multiply by the reciprocal. Don't write this down. Look on your calculator. Do you have 1 over tan anywhere? You don't. Just so you know, you don't. Watch this. Do y'all remember your exponent rule? I really need to hear you say yes. Everything you do with an exponent, you can move anything up and down of a fraction bar all day long. You just have to change the sign of the exponent. So if I have 1 over x to the negative 7, that's x to the 7 above the fraction bar. So if I have 1 over tangent, there's no tangent in a denominator on your calculator, which means you have to move tangent above the fraction bar and raise it to the opposite power. This is tangent to the first power, so it is going to be tangent to the negative first power. Tangent to the negative first power will get you degrees. Anything to the negative first power is called an inverse. Let's look at this right here. Nope. Y'all, this is the handout. Y'all got this handout, right? Look at your calculator. Do you see that step to the negative first power? What color is it? Yellow. If it's yellow, you have to hit the yellow key first. So, if you notice, you guys have sine to the negative first power. I just want to remind you, if you're trying to pack up or anything like that, we're going to wait on you until you get your stuff back out. You're going to hear chairs moving over there. You're going to hear chairs moving over there. You're in a pre-cal class. Y'all need to chill out and pay attention. So this is sine to the negative first. You're going to type in 0.99 or 9663 and hit enter. You're going to hit the second key first. Pull up sine to the negative first power. Do that on your calculator right now. Hit the second key. Hit sine. Type in that decimal. Hit enter. Flip the paper over to the back. The answers are on the back. Did you get it? We're going to save that for the next time. Remember, you have homework.